How's it going, everybody? Boba back here at the review table with a new video, and today we're gonna be doing a keyboard review. But first, we gotta hit that intro. All right, everybody. I hope everyone is staying healthy and everyone had a good holiday. I know I did. I'm excited. I'm actually gonna go snowboarding for the first time in a couple years this weekend, so I'm pretty excited. But yeah, hope everyone's doing good. So today we're gonna be talking about the Razer Huntsman Mini mechanical keyboard using Razer's optical switches. Now, the thing about this keyboard is I actually had pretty much not very much interest in the Razer Huntsman, mainly because it didn't come in the form factor that I like, which I'm a big fan of 60% or 65% keyboard form factors. I'm not a huge fan of like the full size gamery keyboards with all the function keys or all the macro keys. I like a nice compact keyboard so I can have as much space on my desk as possible. And I feel like a lot of enthusiasts also agree with that. Now, I'm far from a keyboard enthusiast, though I've had custom built keyboards in the past. I do currently have the Mass Drop Alt where I have all my switches are hand lubed. They're the Halo Clears with Cryotox 205 grade, I think is what I used. And that's still, I still have that keyboard. I still pull it out from time to time. But, now that I'm running a YouTube channel, I like to test other tech. So I actually found out that Razer made a mini version of their Huntsman in a 60% layout, and I did what most reasonable adults would do. I pulled out my credit card and I bought that for science. No, I figured I would like to do a review of this because there's a lot of technology with this keyboard that I really like. And I really feel like with this keyboard, Razer is starting to dip their toes into the enthusiast market. Now, I know a lot of people hear Razer and they probably hear enthusiast and they go, ooh, no, there's no way. But there's some features of this keyboard that I think are kind of tapping on the door of enthusiast market. And really, if you've kind of been living in a cave for a long time and you're a keyboard person or a mechanical keyboard enthusiast, the enthusiast market is really starting to take over the keyboard market. Like custom built keyboards, there's a lot of YouTube channels that show you how to custom build your keyboards now, and I think Razer is starting to catch on, and some other companies, especially Ducky, is also catching on. From what I've heard, Ducky actually just released a hot swappable Ducky 1.2 Mini, I'm pretty sure. So, nevertheless, let's get talking about the Razer Huntsman Mini. So, again, this is a keyboard that comes in 60% form factor. You can also get the Razer Huntsman full size, and I think they also make a 10 keyless, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments on that. Now, my first impressions of the keyboard. So the reason why I'm not doing an unboxing of this keyboard is because I actually wanted to try it. I wanted to try it out before I did a review on it because I was so interested in it because, again, they went to the 60%. Let's get into the build of it. So the build quality of this keyboard, it's a lot like other Razer products. It's cheap, plasticky build quality, lightweight. I mean, if you want a lightweight keyboard, that's good, but it's very, very plasticky, and I'll actually, kind of hit on my mic there. It's extremely plasticky, and that's kind of always been a knock for Razer, in my opinion. I've always felt that Razer really likes to cut corners on build quality. Now, the good news is you do get a 2-year warranty with this, so that's nice. Though I'm pretty sure a lot of other warranties for other, gaming peripheral companies are a little bit larger or longer. But 2 years, that's still a good warranty, so I'm not gonna knock them too much on that. Now, where I really like this keyboard, and I think Razer is starting to catch on, and like I said, a lot of big companies are catching on, is Razer ships this keyboard standard with double shot PBT keycaps. And this is like the first gaming mainstream keyboard that I have owned that actually comes with double shot PBT keycaps, or just PBT keycaps. Now, if you guys don't know, most keyboards, especially like the big mainstream ones like Logitech, Razer, Corsair, a lot of the big companies, a lot of them actually come with a keycap that's made out of something called ABS plastic. And the problem with ABS plastic is ABS plastic gets very smooth and oily and kind of, I don't know, just like a weird feeling over time. And they don't wear as nicely. And again, they just get like really slick. Now, the cool thing about PBT is a stronger, more like textured plastic. That's the best way to explain it. It's a textured style plastic, and it gives you just like more of a comfortable feel, more of a textured feel, more of a premium feel. And I really like that Razer has caught on to that. That's like kind of the trend now. And you know, they ship it straight with PBT. And I actually did not know. I actually just kind of was at Best Buy and I saw his keyboard and I was like, you know what? I really want to try this out. I think the optical switches look really cool. And now that I have a YouTube channel, again, pull that credit card out. No. I just snagged it up and I figured it was a good review to be made. So again, the Razer Huntsman. Like I said, it comes with double shot PBT caps. And when I pulled it out, I was actually really shocked when I felt them. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of nice. Some more features about this. So thank God Razer ships this with a removable USB-C cable. Thank you, Razer. We are finally starting to see more USB-C in the world. Now, the thing about Razer's USB-C cable is I almost feel like they were trying to make it where you kind of have to use their cable. But I did try it out with a couple other standard USB-C cables, and it does fit. But they do have like a track system, and like their cable's a little proprietary built in the sense like it just has to like line up on these tracks and you push in. But if you have a small enough cable, it should fit in the port just perfectly fine. But I could see this being an issue with certain USB-C cables. So that's a little bit annoying that they do that, but they've done it with a lot of their products. And they're not the only company to do that. As far as, like I said, as far as build quality, you know, I give it like a 5 out of 10. It's not built that good at all. I mean, this thing actually feels, you know, in my hands, and you know, as big of a person as I am and as big as my hands are, it just does not feel well built. And I feel like if I was to drop this, the potential of it breaking and never working again is very high. You know, I really feel like I could just snap it like that if I wanted to. There's a little, you can hear some shake. Those are probably the keys, because the way they're built. As far as the way the keycaps fit, you know, they fit pretty well. Yeah, they fit pretty well. They're not bad. It's just your standard 60% layout. You have like the function keys. You can mute your music, play your music, change your music. Y, you can turn on the, or sorry, you can turn on the game mode. They have all kinds of little different things you could do with it. So you're really not missing out running a keyboard like this, because you still have your function keys. All you hit is FN and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you have all your function keys. So it's kind of a nice keyboard to have. Like I said, I'm a big fan of 60% keyboards because they fit nicely on my desk. Okay, got a removable USB-C cable. We have double shot PBT caps, and we have a 60% keyboard. And we have not seen a lot of big major companies make 60% keyboards. This is kind of one of the first big gamery companies that has released a 60% keyboard. And I'm actually really shocked that they did, because most people that play, you know, most average PC gamers probably don't actually like 60% keyboards. I know my wife is she's a pretty avid gamer, and she's really into games like Smite and Elder Scrolls Online, Sims, stuff like that. And she saw this keyboard and she hated it. She did not like the size of it at all. But when she got using it, she actually started to really like it. And I tried to explain to her that the reason you would get a keyboard like this is just to have more room on your mouse pad, and it kind of just allows you to, you know, just have more room, and it allows you to manipulate the keyboard different ways. This is so those are kind of the reasons why I feel like Razer is starting to dip their toes and knock on the door of enthusiast keyboards, you know, trying to tap into the enthusiast market a little bit. Now, let's get into what I think makes this keyboard really, really nice. That is the Razer optical switches. Now, but long story short, how optical switches work is down in the switch, there is a light that beams into a sensor, and an optical switch essentially just pushes down and it blocks the light, which will send an instantaneous signal to the computer, letting you know that a keystroke is being registered, or a key press is being registered, however you want to say it. Now, I am far from a high-tech enthusiast that knows everything about keyboards and stuff. But from everything that I've read and all the research I've done in the years that I do have with mechanical keyboards, I will tell you that, you know, what they're showing is very promising, that you get a lot less input delay, because something called, I think it's called like debounce or something, that causes some input delay once a mechanical key presses. I'm not gonna get into tech specs because I don't want to make myself sound any more dumb than I already do. But long story short, it's essentially just a beam of light that goes through. It goes in, it blocks the beam of light, which will instantaneously send a signal to your computer. And there's some cool things that go with that. So one, you get less input delay, and two, from what I've been reading, it shows a lot of promise of extending the life of your switches. Because there's less mechanical things happening in a switch. Essentially, it's just blocking a beam of light and it's sending a signal, compared to most mechanical switches that have to do with like touching like a plate, which sends an electrical signal through a different way. Whereas this is a lot more simplistic. So I'm curious to see how long these switches last, and I'm curious to see if you get a lot of the ghosting issues that you get with some other keyboards. Now, I've been avoiding buying another Razer keyboard for a long time, because almost every Razer keyboard that I have owned, especially their older ones like the Black Widow, had a lot of problems with ghosting. And I would be playing games like Counter-Strike or Call of Duty, and all of a sudden my keys wouldn't work because it was trying to register too many key presses at once. And it was just having all kinds of issues. Now, I've heard a lot with the switches that they brought in-house when they started making them themselves, because I think they were getting made by Khalil or something, which is out of China, which is kind of a lower tier switch company, kind of a knockoff of Cherry MX. And I've heard they were causing a lot of the problems. And again, I apologize for the pronunciation. I don't know. I'm not really sure how to say it. But yes, so they brought all their switches in-house, so their switches should be a lot more reliable than they used to. But yeah, so I've talked about the keyboard. I mean, there's not a ton to talk about. Like I said, you know, it's a 60% keyboard. It's got PVT caps, double shot PVT caps, and it's using their proprietary optical switches, which is some really cool technology, and I'm glad to see that they are starting to innovate a little bit more. Again, the build quality is not great, but you know, if you buy a Razer product, you know, I wouldn't expect the build quality to be great. So, like I said, I've talked about a lot of the features. Yes, it's got RGB. In my opinion, it's not the best RGB in the world. There's no backplate on here, so you're not gonna get a ton of RGB shining through. It's very minimalistic RGB, which is my favorite kind of RGB personally. The only thing I would change about this is I would do something like the Mass Drop Alt, where I would put just like a strip in here, just to give it a little bit more RGB gamery look, because I know a lot of people do love RGB. And the RGB on this is very toned down, so you know, if you like RGB or you don't like RGB, this is like a good in the middle, I guess. All right, so now that I have done the kind of the overview of the keyboard and given you guys my first impressions, let's go ahead and do a quick sound test of this keyboard, and I will catch you guys back in a second. All right, everybody, Boba back here at the review table. I hope you guys enjoyed that sound test. Now, I will say that these switches definitely have more of a blue feel. They claim that they are the tactile Razer optical switches. I'm not sure if they make a silent version, but these are the purple switches there, the purple optical switches. So if you guys see the purple ones, they are gonna be the clickier ones. A couple notes that I have about the sound of this keyboard. So again, if you're really into mechanical keyboards, is they're definitely not gonna sound like an enthusiast grade, you know, Zelios V2, you know, lube switch. Like, they're just not gonna have that sound, and there's a lot of reasons why. One, it's very cheap plastic, it's hollow, and they're not lube switches. And I don't even know if you can lube optical switches at the moment. I mean, you might be able to. I know there's a lot of YouTube channels that specialize in custom mechanical keyboards, so I will look into that for you guys, and maybe I will try to lube these with my Cryotox that I have. But as far as the sound, I think they're acceptable. They're not too bad. You get a little bit of a zing. I'm not sure if the sound test picked it up, but you definitely get like a springy zing. Okay, I'm gonna do that again. You get kind of a springy zing in there, which you get with a lot of like cheaper keyboards. But overall, they sound pretty good, and they're very well stabilized. I think, you know, as far as stabilization, I think Razer did a really good job. And I think part of it's due to the fact that it's definitely a wider switch than like a Cherry MX or a Razer style switch. You know, again, it's their proprietary optical switch, and they have this like nice stabilizing bar there, so they actually feel really nice to type on. And yeah, so I've definitely enjoyed using this keyboard. This is a good buy, and you can get this keyboard right now at Best Buy for $120, and I think Razer did a good job with the price point on this keyboard. At $120, you know, you're kind of paying for the Razer branding, and you're kind of paying for their, you know, their not custom, but like their proprietary optical switch. But if you really compare it to a lot of the other keyboards on the market, $120, it's only $20 more expensive than the Ducky 1.2 Mini. And the Ducky 1.2 Mini, in my opinion, doesn't really have much more, you know, really anything special other than they do have a better build quality. I would put a Ducky 2 Mini probably at about an 8 compared to this one at about a 5 when it comes to build quality. But as far as that, you know, it is a very nice keyboard. It comes with PVT keycaps, it's 60% layout, it's got their optical switches, they're nice and clicky and tactile. So there's not a lot to say about this keyboard other than, you know, if you're on the market for a 60% keyboard, this is not a bad one to get. Also, I want to point out that the Razer optical switches have what appears to be the Cherry style stems, so these should be compatible with most Cherry MX keycaps out there. Now, keep in mind that if you buy aftermarket Cherry MX PVT keycaps, you're gonna have to buy the ones that are made for 60% keyboards, because there's definitely there can be spacing issues with like the shifts and the shift and the control and the alt keys. Though I'm pretty sure that this one has like the standard ones. I know when it comes to 65% keyboard layouts, a lot of times you have to buy special keycap sets. But as far as that, guys, I have another video for you guys to check out if you want to see it and continue to check out other videos on my channel. And I thank you guys for the support. Link in the description to this keyboard with the affiliate link to Best Buy. I am an affiliate with Best Buy. Also, I am partnered up with Raze Energy Drinks by Rep Sports. So if you guys are on the market for really good energy drinks that are a lot more healthy compared to the ones that you get nowadays that are high in sugar, check out my link down below. I have 15% off of all of Rep Sports. So anything you want off Rep Sports website, you can use my code bobaslife YouTube, well, YT, for 15% off, again in the description, and I'll catch you guys next time.